Isn't it draining to be controlling everything so much and to not just allow things to be as they are sometimes in life? And don't get me wrong, controlling is great, but at a certain point in life, controlling becomes one of the most draining and counterproductive things you'll ever do. And in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you why letting go is so much easier, how to stop controlling everything and just let go. Just let go. Just let go. How to stop controlling everything and just surrender. Okay? Because that's going to be the key that you need to find that true peace in your life. Now, if you're new to this channel, what I want you to do is I want you to hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, because I do post a new video every single day. Also, if you want to work with me one-on-one personally, hit the link that's in the description box of this video to apply for a free consultation. Also, hit the like button so that this video can reach more people, because every single human being deserves to surrender and to find that peace. So the first thing you can really do to actually let go of control, let go of this need to control everything. Sometimes things will happen, you don't know why. The first step is to understand that the ego wants control. Okay? That's just what the ego does. The ego just wants control. It wants to control people, wants to control thought. It's like the nature of you being in this reality is to have an element of masculine energy, masculinity. Ego is to control. Like, if you didn't have this sense that you could control something in your life, my claim is going to be a bold claim, but it's the fact that you literally would not even have a sense of self. Because the ego and control grounds you into this reality. And so when we have this compulsive need to actually control everything, at least understand where it's coming from. At least understand where it's coming from. Understand that the nature of your ego, the nature of who you are, is actually to control. Now, who you truly are is, of course, an ultimate surrender. But the surface level part of who you are is to control. And when you merge these two things together, you get your experience of life. But understand that controlling is not necessarily a bad thing. It's just that the ego is a little bit, I'm not going to say this from a judgmental point of view, but the ego is a little bit dysfunctional, to say the least. It's dysfunctional in the sense that it controls too much thinking, too much manipulation, too much will imposed on reality, too much. And that's good. You need control, but too much, and now you're in an interesting situation where you're suffering a lot more than you need to. So just understand that's the nature of the ego. It's the nature of the ego. How could it be any other way? Without the balance of life, where on one end we have the feminine energy, and then on the other end we have the masculine energy, where you want to control and push your energy out into the world, what would life really be? It would be nothing. It would literally be nothing. Of course, there's still nothing, but there's also something to contrast nothing, and that's why you have this sense of control. We'll get to that later. But the thing is, understand that it's normal to have this need to control, and just show more compassion. It's normal. It's literally normal. It's the nature of not who you truly are, but who you are at the surface level as an ego to control. Like, I noticed that whenever I have breakthroughs in my meditations or breakthroughs in my spirituality, so to speak, I'll always have this weird need to just start controlling things shortly after. Like, I'll start controlling this, I'll start controlling that. And it's like, why do I feel like I have to control everything? Because part of the mind is afraid of the unknown. It's afraid to just be in the present moment, to just fully be in the present moment. Which brings me to the second thing that I want to share with you is ego is afraid of the unknown. It's afraid of the unknown. It's afraid of not having control. See, the thing you got to understand is that as a human being, you are an infinite being. Okay, I want you to understand that you are an infinite being where infinite possibilities do exist in your consciousness. But that infinite possibility, that infiniteness, if that's a word, that exists within you manifests as certain limited forms. Okay, certain limited forms. And so when one form breaks down and then you shift into a new level of identity and you shift into something else, that's uncertainty. That's like a I don't know where I'm headed. It's like I feel like I'm collapsing. I feel like I'm losing a part of myself. Of course, when you level up in life, when you step up into a higher reality, yes, you are going to feel like you're losing a part of yourself. And it can't be really any other way. Now, the thing is, understand that the ego is also afraid of the unknown. That's why it wants to control. Now you're thinking, that doesn't help me to not control, Francis. But when you understand the nature of why you're controlling to begin with, you can get a little bit closer to actually not controlling, because you have this fear, and I have this fear too. Don't think I'm excluded from this. I'm a human being just like you are, to control everything. It's like, oh, I have to control this. And then it's like, why is that happening? It's because there's a fear of the unknown. There's a fear of not knowing where life is going to take you. Because the thing is, life truly is uncertain. Anything can happen in any moment. Forms are limited, okay? Forms are limited. Your human body is limited. Your emotions are limited. No form lasts forever. And so the thing is, that limitation is pretty much like the ego thinks, the ego tries to convince itself that things are solid, things are stationary, things are, like very concise, and there's strong boundaries to reality, and there are, but also just remember that this sense of control that you have, this sense of groundedness, is a little bit more of a slippery thing than you think. It could collapse at any single moment. The unknown is the nature of life. Think about it like this. So many people in the world right now thought that they have this big sense of control and security in their life. They have these secure jobs. And look what happened. Half the world literally lost their jobs, and they're completely in uncertainty. So it's like you think you have control, and then in a matter of months, the whole world literally goes into some crazy lockdown, and people lose their jobs, people lose this. It's because you think you have control, but really you don't have as much control as you think. Now, don't get me wrong. We have so much control as infinite beings, but there's a limitation to that. There's a limitation to that. And the paradox is that when you accept the limitation, you actually get closer to controlling reality and being in alignment with the flow of the universe. To the outside world, it's going to be like, wow, he has crazy control. But no, really, you're surrendered. You're surrendered. You've stopped trying to control everything. You've surrendered, and now it appears to the outside world that you have somehow more control. But all you've done is you've surrendered into the unknown. I promise that most of the people you look up to are surrendered to the unknown. Including, that's me. If you look up to me, I try my best to be into the unknown. But don't take that as somebody being better than you. No, we're all egos. We're all humans. We're all human beings. We're all flesh. But you can surrender into the unknown. Surrendering into the unknown will take you one step closer to letting go of control. Understand this second point. If you become more comfortable with the uncertainty of life, and you truly see that nothing is certain, nothing. You think that by going to school you're more certain? Maybe to some degree. From another perspective, you may lose your job at any single point. You may lose your body at any single point. Now, we are infinite beings. So I'm not here to put fear into you, but the thing is, just remember that this sense of control that the ego has is not as strong as we're conditioned to believe in society. You know, like things can collapse at any moment. But when you accept that, when you accept the uncertainty of life, that is when you will find more peace. Accept the unknown. Accept that certain things are not known. And watch how you begin to stop controlling. It's like, oh, I'm comfortable with the unknown now. I'm comfortable that I don't know everything. Look what happened. Now you don't feel this need to control. That's exactly what's going to happen to you when you accept the unknown. When you let go of your logical, analytical thinking ego mind, you will control less. Now, the third thing you can do, the third thing you can understand when it comes to not controlling as much, how to stop controlling everything and just surrender, is to understand that the ego is afraid of being. The ego is afraid of being. You see, I started to meditate about 4 to 5 years ago, right? I started meditating 4 to 5 years ago. And what I noticed when I actually started to meditate is that the ego will do everything in its power to not be present to the moment. I'll start adjusting my shirt. I'll start adjusting my position. I'll start, doing weird things to control reality. And it's like I started to see, wait a second, everything my ego's doing is to run away from being. And of course, what is being? Being is ultimate surrender. Now, of course, ultimate surrender would mean, like, I hate to say it, death. That's death. Ultimate surrender into source, and this is just my perspective. What I think ultimate surrender is you've merged back into source. You've merged back into the universe, okay? But the thing is, a little bit of control is good. But when you're meditating, when you're being present to the moment, the thing is, you're afraid to be. You're afraid of the unknown. And so am I. So is my ego. But I notice within myself that everything my ego does is to almost distract itself from the present moment. This is why people have addictions. This is why people are afraid to be alone. This is why people have codependent relationships. This is why people are doing drugs that they don't want to be doing, because they're afraid of being with themselves. They're afraid of being in their own energy, because the ego inherently is scared to be in its own energy. But the thing is, if you can see that, if you can actually start to notice that the reason why you're controlling everything is because you're afraid to be in the now, you can actually start to see the deception of your own ego, the deception of your own mind, the own trickery within you, convincing you why you can't just surrender when you can. And the only thing stopping you is your own ego, your own ideologies, your own thinking, your own worries, your own fears, your lack of love. That's what it is. You're afraid to love yourself. Because when you're afraid to love yourself, where's that coming from? Because you're afraid to love the parts of you that are painful to look at. You're afraid of being. You see, if you look at people that are afraid to be alone, it comes from one thing: a fear of being alone. Where does that come from? A fear of being. It's in the sentence. A fear of being alone. Because you're being. When you learn to be, what's going to happen is you will learn to surrender. And so what I'm proposing to you in this video is an invitation to accept the unknown more. An invitation meaning that you can do it if you want or not do it if you want. It's your choice. But my invitation to you, even though it is your choice, and I'll always say that in my videos, I'm not a teller, I'm a pointer and I'm a guide. And even if I tell you, I want you to understand I'm always pointing you. I tell, but the intention is to point and to guide. So my invitation to you is actually to not control so much. Try to have it within you. Whatever you can do to be. To not control. To surrender. To be in the unknown. Stop thinking about what you have to say next. Let the universe flow through you. Let your emotions be raw. Let your emotions flow through you. Let the universe flow through you. Let the unknown be the unknown. Stop trying to control life. That's my invitation to you. Let life work through you. Let life support you. Understand that there's many forces working that your ego cannot understand. And the way that you let those forces work in your favor is counterintuitively by surrendering into the unknown and trusting the uncertainty of life and trusting where that life energy will take you. Okay, so I hope this video allows you to not control so much and to just surrender into the moment and surrender into the beingness of who you truly are, and allow you to stop controlling everything and just surrender. So that's all I have for this video. Once again, if you want to work with me one-on-one personally, hit the link that's in the description box of this video to apply for a free consultation. This video resonated with you, hit that like button. As always, have yourself a great day, and I'll see you in the next video.